We have a topic this morning that I can personally relate to: food allergies. Now, it's not your imagination if it seems more people are allergic to some sort of food these days. Reports of allergies in general are increasing, including food allergies in children. Cybele Pascal is the mother of 2 children and the author of the Whole Foods Allergy Cookbook. And the idea for this cookbook came after a pretty painful experience with your 4-year-old son, Lennon, who is basically, you found out, allergic to a whole lot of things, including your own breast milk. How did you discover that?
He was actually not allergic to my breast milk. He was allergic to the foods that I was eating that were passing through the breast milk. So he was having an allergic reaction to the dairy I was eating, to the soy I was eating.
And what was the reaction?
Starting at around 2 months old, my son Lennon started having hives and eczema, rashes, reflux, projectile vomiting, bloody diarrhea. I mean, you name it, he had it. And
it wasn't just one food. Usually you're able to narrow it down to something like, I'm allergic to fish, all fish actually. But in his case, he's allergic to many things.
Well, he was allergic to dairy and soy. He has since outgrown his soy allergy. But when you have a child who has food allergies, you're often advised by your allergist and by the American Academy of Pediatrics to keep that child away from other major allergenic foods. So he couldn't eat peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, eggs, and then the dairy and soy he was allergic to.
And those are the most common food allergies. It's not common, though, that people would be allergic to many of them, is it?
Well, you're seeing more and more children these days who have at least 3 allergies.
Really?
You know,
when they have one, they're going to likely have more.
They have an allergic predisposition, and so they'll have an egg, a soy, and a wheat, and potentially a dairy allergy. So I'm seeing many kids who have multiple food allergies.
Let's talk about the cookbook. So you decided as a parent, it must have been very difficult for you to have to cut out so many food groups. So you decided to write a cookbook. How difficult is it to make food appealing for children when you're avoiding so many of the things that they normally eat?
Well, I was lucky in that I have a cooking background. I was raised cooking with wonderful chefs in my house, and then I cooked for a living for many years. So I had that on my side. And I did a lot of experimenting, and what I discovered over the course of doing this for the past 4 years is that as long as you stock your pantry really well, it's easy. You just have to sort of get in that mindset. But once you do that, you make wonderful meals, and my kids eat very healthily and very happily.
Okay, let's talk about then what you need to stock your pantry with in order to eliminate the 8 major allergens. Take a look at the basic pantry supplies. Tell us what you need to have.
For your pantry, well, you're substituting things like olive oil, safflower oil, a soy-free, dairy-free shortening for dairy, for butter. So that's one of the things that's really important to have in your pantry.
And honey's okay?
Honey is great. It's a great alternate to refined sugar.
All right, I want to move to the refrigerator supplies also, because it's not only things that you have to have that will remain fresh, the freshness is not important. Also, you have to stock your freezer and your refrigerator. Tell us about the fridge supplies.
Well, I like to keep things like oat milk and rice milk in my fridge. Who knew there was such a thing as oat milk?
Where do you find this stuff?
You find these things at places like the Whole Foods Market or your local health food store, or requested at your supermarket.
Okay, and if we can move on to the freezer supplies, you'll walk us through that as well. I just want to ask you, if your son, you said, outgrew one of the allergies, is it assumed that he'll outgrow all eventually, or like me, be stuck with it for life?
We hope that he'll outgrow all of his allergies. Often you don't outgrow the peanut and the shellfish allergy, unfortunately. But the other allergies, children often can outgrow them if you avoid the allergen, and that's one of the things about my book. My book is the first book that eliminates all 8 allergens responsible for 90% of food allergies.
All right, and let's take a quick look at the freezer supplies, what you need to have in the freezer to eliminate these allergens.
Things to have in the freezer, things like corn tortillas and brown rice tortillas are great to have in place of wheat bread if you want to make sandwiches with them. Organic meats, organic poultry, frozen fruits and vegetables, things like that you're cooking with.
Okay, and you say your son now is how old?
He's 4.
And do you think he's missing out on anything?
I think he is a happy eater. I don't think he's missing out on anything.
Sounds to me, not the way you cook, it sounds that he is doing just fine.
I make him triple chocolate cupcakes for his Valentine's Day party at school. He's eating well.
All right. Thank you so much, Cybele Pascal. Thanks for joining us this morning. And for more information, you can log on to our website, WNBC.com.